Well, welcome back to Stab the Dragon Productions for episode number 262 and for Rum and Rumors of Rum number 5, coming to you from Fort Worth, Texas on Wednesday, April 22nd, 2026, where it has been 76 degrees. I am primarily a whiskey guy, but I am slowly gaining an appreciation for rum, and then also as a student of history, I certainly appreciate the impact of rum on the American colonies. And so once in a while, not as often as I would like, I present a rum for study and review. Today, we'll be looking at a Barbados rum Doorly's 12-year. And I'm doing rum this time because I'm kind of in between series. I think I've finished my Irish series for now, and I'm getting ready to go into some studies of rye, which I started last year, many months ago, maybe almost a year ago. And then I have not really done much with that because I got sidetracked onto blended scotches. And then we did Canadian whiskeys during the winter months, and then March and April, the Irish whiskeys, and throw in history stuff a lot of the time. So at any rate, this last week is full of history, and that's why I'm doing rum today, is that the 17th was the anniversary of the Battle of Lexington. And so the Battle of Lexington and Concord kind of kickstarted the American Revolution back in 1775. And rum was a major part of the economy in the colonies. So we're going to look at rum tonight and see what we find. So just the facts about Doorly's 12. This is a 12-year-old rum at 86 proof from Doorly's, distilled at the Four Square Rum Distillery on Barbados. Costs about $31.99 here in Fort Worth. Tasting notes: moderately sweet, a bit of rum funk. I get the spice, wood, leather, and tobacco. Maybe hints of banana. True to the nose, what you smell is what you get. This is delightful. I gave it a score of 90. Letter grade for drinkability, a solid A. And my recommendation, again, I'm new to rum, I'm just learning, but I find this to be both quite tasty and affordable, even though it's a little bit hard to find maybe. You've got a lovely bottle and label, very flexible in use, so it seems to be a rum for all seasons and all occasions. I highly recommend Doorly's 12-year. Now, we're going to start somewhat different tonight. We're going to do a brief comparison between Doorly's and Bacardi 4. I have previously reviewed Bacardi 4, and I liked it, but let me see if I can even tell the difference. Again, I've not prepped this. I haven't studied this, and I don't drink rum very much, so I don't know my rums. But glass number 1 has got the Bacardi, and glass number 2 has the Doorly's. So we will see what we can find. I'll start left to right. That one's very tasty. It's got a nice mild burn. Kind of a long finish. The one on the right. A little bit nicer mouthfeel. Not quite as bold as the first one. More smooth. Different qualities. Now this will be embarrassing, I'm sure. I am, likely to choose the 4-year-old Bacardi over the 12-year-old Doorly. I'm just guessing. Try again. little bit of the rum funk, sweetness, a little bit sharp, bold. That's pretty good. Again, a long-lasting finish. The Bacardi is only 40 proof, or 40%, 80 proof. The first one drinks like it's got the higher proof. But this one, the mouthfeel says it might be the 12-year-old. I kind of favor the glass on the left, but there's not a whole lot of difference. Again, boy, am I new to this. So the one on the left got a little bit more punch to it, like it's the higher proof maybe. But the one on the right, smoother, richer. I'm going to go with the one on the left. And that's the Doorly's. That is the Doorly's. There you go. The one on the right is the Bacardi. All right, well, that wasn't as embarrassing as I feared. So Doorly's wins the one-on-one comparison there. Now let's get to the details. History. The Doorly's brand came about in 1908 after the government of Barbados passed a law in 1906 that forced rum distilleries to sell their products in bulk, create their own labels and brands. Martin Doorly then made the macaw rum. Now you can see some macaws on the label here, that blue one especially. And Martin Doorly made the macaw rum, and it was the first rum to be sold overseas from Barbados. And so you can see the macaw birds are still on the label today. Doorly's then was purchased by R.L. Seal in 1993, and production was subsequently moved to his new Foursquare distillery. In colonial America, rum was the liquor of choice, and Barbados, as an English colony, shipped barrels of molasses to New England, where the Yankees distilled it into rum. In the colonies, there was well over 100 distilleries, and they mainly made rum, although, of course, they made some brandy as well, and whiskey also. But rum was the liquor of choice in the American colonies. So the Yankees would then, make the rum and then ship it back to England. So this was what's known as mercantilism. It was the economic system of Great Britain with their colonies, and that you would take raw resources from one colony, send it to another colony where they would do something with it, and then send it back to England, and then England would send some finished products back. So it was an economic system designed for the advantage of Mother England, not so much for the colonies. But rum and rum from, or molasses from Barbados, was important to the colonies. Now, well, this label is highly regarded by rum aficionados. It's not found in the top 20 best-selling rums in America. So, even though it's highly regarded, it's not one of the top-selling rums. For history, 4 out of 5 points. Bottle, label, and marketing. I find it to be a very attractive bottle and label. You've got clear glass. This is round. It does have a base, slightly larger at the shoulder, so a little bit of a flare there. A flared neck. You've got a rubber stopper. And, again, the label is very nice and attractive. The box here gives it a nice touch. Gives a little bit of the history on there. Here's a lot of the awards that this rum has won. So it's a highly regarded rum. It's, surprises me that it's not leading in sales anywhere in the top 20. So I did have trouble finding a website for this, though. So you can go to the distillery website, but I had trouble finding a Dorley's website. Lots of reviews, though, are out there for this. Bottle label and marketing. Again, I've seen no advertisements or anything, but I just went to Total Wine and asked for somebody to, give a recommendation, and that's what I got. 5 out of 5, though, for bottle label and marketing. Appearance. Well, you can see in the bottle, this is fairly dark. And that's why I had to use the blacked out glasses, because I initially poured in this Glencairn here. And it's like, oh no, the Dorley's is way too dark. Can't be doing that kind of comparison, or I would, go off of the visuals. So let's have a pour of this and see what it looks like in the glass. There we are in the glass. So for the appearances, it's a light 4, but I'm going to give it 4. That's about a 4. And no food coloring is allowed in Dorley's. So they don't use food coloring, and that surprised me. 4 out of 5. Composition, this is a 12-year-old rum weighing in at 43% ABV or 86 proof, and is a blend of column still and pot still rums coming from the Caribbean island of Barbados, and they use the sugar cane grown there. The yeast, however, does come from South Africa, of all places. The barrels that the rum is aged in are American bourbon barrels, but some of the rum is also finished in Madeira wine casks. Only some. I don't get a strong wine presence here. I mean, there's the sweetness from the rum, but there might be a hint of the sweetness from the wine, the Madeira. Maybe so. So for composition, 14 out of 15. Really, I got quite a bit of information off of that. Nose. Does have a sweet nose. Brown sugar, molasses. A little bit of the rum funk comes through. And it's a little bit spicy. Vanilla. I'm actually getting some vanilla here. That's odd for me. I usually don't smell vanilla. Some wood. At 12 years, you would hope so. And the wood comes across also like tobacco and leather, which in whiskeys, that's a favorite combination for me. So really, this is a very nice nose. 9 out of 10. I don't often give a 9. The taste. Moderately sweet. A bit of the rum funk, which is really what I like about rum. I get some spices there. Wood, leather, tobacco. Fruits. Maybe a hint of banana, which you would hope for in rum, right? I mean, you want some kind of tropical fruit in there. A little bit of banana, perhaps. So I really find the taste to be true to the nose and very delightful. 23 out of 25 for the taste. The mouthfeel, it does have a rich mouthfeel, but the Bacardi surprised me with its mouthfeel. The Bacardi really seemed to have a little bit even better mouthfeel, so I don't know. But this has a decent mouthfeel, pretty good. And the burn is more than I expected it would be, but it's certainly not a drama queen. Okay. It's focused in the mouth. It doesn't really go up. It doesn't really go down. It does linger for a while. The flavors linger for a while. The burn lingers a little bit. So it's got kind of a longer finish. This is, okay, The burn does get up in my sinuses just a little bit, so that's actually beneficial. I like that. I like the burn. So mouthfeel, burn, and finish. That's a 13 out of 15. Really like it. Now, flexibility and versatility. Obviously, I like it neat. I mean, primary, when it comes to liquors, I prefer neat. But at $32, that's a good price. And I wouldn't feel bad mixing this with Coca-Cola, okay, or some other soft drink. Now, of course, there are tons of tropical cocktails that you can get online or in a bar or whatever for this rum. So it is very flexible. I am going to try the rum old fashioned, so stand by. And I'm back with an old fashioned, keeping in theme with the Revolutionary era. I've got a rocks glass from Ben Shot, and it's got a musket ball in there. So cheers to the brave patriots of 1775, 1776, an old fashioned. And that's really pretty good. Now, I may have overdone the orange bitters with the orange peel. Maybe. This is definitely fruity, and it's got, you can't see it, it's hidden by the orange peel, but there is a cherry in there. 1 cube of sugar, turbinado sugar. Some, I think, Astera bitters and orange bitters. So this is really, I'm going to dump the rest of this glass in there. So it's pretty sweet, and it's pretty orangey, and that's in the realm of still pretty good, but I might cut back on the orange a little bit one way or the other next time. So for flexibility, versatility, 5 out of 5. And I just haven't learned how to make those Caribbean cocktails yet. I'm going to work on that. For right now, though, rum old fashioned absolutely works. Price, value, and availability. Again, this was about $32. Found locally only at Total Wine. Total Wine had this. Specs did not. Goody Goody did not. So apparently this may be a little difficult to obtain. So only 8 out of 10 for price, value, and availability. But I found the price and the value to be excellent. Bonus points. I'm going to give this 5 out of 5 for bonus points. Again, I am new to rum, but this really checks all the boxes for me. I mean, this is affordable. It's a lovely bottle. It's got a decent history, and certainly the taste. That is really quite good. And adding that little bit more of the rum, that tamed it down a little bit from the sweet and the orangishness of it all. So it gives me a total score of 90. Letter grade of drinkability for Doorly's 12, solid A. Admittedly, again, I'm new to rum, just learning, but this is very tasty, very affordable. Lovely bottle and label. It's flexible as most rums are. So I highly recommend this rum. Now, what's coming up next? Again, I'm kind of in between series a little bit. So that's when I toss in some interesting side notes. So we've done the Doorly's rum that I've had for a long time and wanted to review. I've got an exceptional bottle of Scotch single malt here. This is the Glenmorangie Signet. This was gifted to me by a family relative for my birthday, and I'm just now getting around to doing the review for it. So that's going to be coming up next. This is an amazing single malt. So yeah, we'll be doing that next, but then we're going to transition back into our rye series, where I'm doing a rye tournament. And I think first in the dock is going to be Basil Hayden's malted rye. Basil Hayden malted rye. That'll lead off our return to the world of rye, and that will be on my other channel, Texas Rye Whiskey Studies. For now, this is Stab the Dragon Productions for Doorly's 12-year, celebrating the American Revolution, as well as the Battle of San Jacinto and the history of Texas out here